Hello everybody. I got a really pretty Mexican banded agate today that I'm going to do a cabochon out of. I'm not sure if I can get exactly to this design drawn on the stone, which is a large oval. It's got some pitting on the sides, so let me grind it down to the design, and if I have to, I'll go a little deeper and try to keep it as even as possible. So let me get this thing shaped and a low dome put on it, and I'll be right back. All right, back from the polishing machine, and this is kind of what I got here. So this was through the 80X grit wheel. You can tell I cleaned up the edges just a little bit. You can see where the scratches are gone. I was just trying to make sure I had a rounded shape still. It is a free-formed oval, but still an oval nonetheless. Kind of wanted to make sure it looked good. All right, got a slight dome on it. That little spot is going to undercut a little bit because of that hole, unfortunately. That one not so much because it's in the middle, but on the edge, those are hard to deal with. As you can tell, it stayed pretty round. All right, let me get this on the next wheel. I'm gonna get this cleaned up on a 220, get all the rest of the scratches out and any flat spots off of it. And I'll be back and we'll see what it looks like. Well, hang on a second. Before I do that, let's get this wet. Just see kind of what it looks like. You can tell it's still got scratches, but when you get it wet, it kind of fills them in, and you can kind of see what it'll look like polished. So that's gonna look nice. So let's get this dried off real quick. Mind you what it's gonna look like, what it looks like now. And we'll go get it cleaned up on a 220 and get all those scratches out, and I'll be right back. All right, back from the 220 wheel. Let's see how we did. All right, well, I believe I got all the deep scratches out, flat spots from the 80X. Looking pretty good. Appears to be keeping around all right. I'm not undercutting too much on that spot, but a little. All right, I think we're done with the hard wheels. Time for first soft resin wheel, which is in my case going to be a 140. We'll go with a 140 to get any remaining scratches from the steel wheel out. And I'll be right back after I hit this on the 140. We'll see what it looks like. All right. Back from the first soft resin wheel, 140 grit. And as you can tell, we got a pretty good smooth surface now. You can see a hint of reflecting lights in the top of the stone. I don't see any deep scratches remaining, so that's a good sign, and it's still looking pretty round, and that's really good. All right, next soft resin wheel we're going to hit this with is a 280 grit. That's your typical for a soft resin wheel. Not everybody uses the 140 like I do. It saves me time, at least I think it does. It costs a little extra money on wheels, but in the long run, the wheels last a little longer, especially the 280. this goes by a little quicker. I get the scratches out a whole lot faster from the 220 with a 140 versus a 280. And then if you combine the time going from 220 to 140 to 280, it's less time than going from 220 to 280 for me anyways. So process works for me. All right, let me get this onto the 280 and I'll be right back. We'll see what it looks like. All right, I am back from the 280 wheel. Let's take a look at this. Got some lint on here. Oh, we got some water coming out of that bug in the middle. All right, we'll let that dry, but let's check this for scratches. All right, I can see the light's just a little bit better now, and checking for any deep scratches that remain. All right, I think it's looking pretty good. I think got all the scratches out from the previous wheel. Don't see anything popping up. Sometimes the better the polish you get, the easier it is to spot scratches that you missed from previous wheels. And you gotta go back. But this is looking pretty good. All right, I think it's time for the first polishing soft wheel, which will be a 600 grit. At that point, I believe you should start seeing the shop lights a lot better. Studio lights, actually, in this case. All right, so let's get this back into the shop, onto the polishing wheel, and get this done up on a 600 grit. And I'll be right back after the 600. All right, back from the 600 grit. All right, check that out. Take a look at the shop lights now. All right, definitely showing up a lot better. Seeing some scratches though. Not sure what that is. That's weird. I mean, it's definitely got a good polish going. Depending on which way you turn the light, you can see some kind of scratching going on there. I wonder if it's just because of the orientation of the bands showing the scratches from the last wheel. That is weird. Well, I don't know. It could be that the 600 did not get the scratches from the 280 out. And I need to get it a little further along on the 600. All right, so the next wheel is going to be my final polishing wheel, 1200 grit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on the 600 a little longer and hopefully get some of these scratches out, if that's what they are. Then we'll get it on the 1200, bring it back in under the shop lights or studio lights and see what it looks like. You never know, they might be just showing up and they're really fine. And the next stage we'll get it out. And then the final stage, which will be cerium oxide on a leather polishing pad, might get everything out. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. That's different. I think I've ever seen that. Especially on wheels that are fairly new. All right, let me go clean it up a little longer on the 600 and then we'll get it onto the 1200 and see what it looks like. I'll be right back. All right, well, back from the 1200 and you can see the shop light's really good now. You can see the individual bulbs. Again though, I've got that weird texture in some of the bands in sections, and it's like you don't see it and then you do see it. It could be the parallax in this allowing me to see these what appear to be scratches, and it could just be the natural grain in the stone that's showing up. I don't know. So I went all the way back to the 280 and redid the 600, double timed it, and I went ahead and hit it on the 1200 and I could still see this stuff showing. Disappointing, but I don't know what it is. I think it's something natural in the stone. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the final polishing stage, which is the cerium oxide. And we'll see if that goes away. I mean, if not, the only way you can see it is close up magnified like this. So let's get it on the cerium oxide leather polishing pad and see if we can get this to show up a little bit better on the polish. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Let's get some of the lint off of here. So back after hitting it on the cerium oxide, let's get a smudge or something, hopefully. That's all that is. Yeah, it's just some of the water from the center. Oh boy. All right, well, good news and bad news. Good news is, whatever that weird occurrence is, it's not as visible after hitting it on the cerium oxide. You can still see it a little, but again, you gotta magnify it to see it. Bad news is I can see some light scratches near the center. So let me get it right here. You can see them just underneath that crystal vug. All right, let me go clean that up real quick. See if I can get those scratches out. I mean, I can't see them with the naked eye, but when you magnify in on it and I see them, I just got to clean those up. All right, let me get that cleaned up and I'll be right back. All right. So I went back to a 280 on the top, hit it the 600 again, back to the 1200, hit the cerium oxide, and if you recall, the scratches were just underneath that crystal vug right here, and I don't see them anymore. All right. Yeah, pretty clean actually. I can still kind of see what I was seeing before in the banding as I turn the stone, but it's not nearly as noticeable now that it's been polished with the cerium oxide. And like I said, to the naked eye, this thing looks perfect. All right, it's got a decent shape still. It held up pretty good. So last thing I want to do is I'm going to go around it, put a bevel on the outside edge, and make sure there's no chips on the bottom edge. And then I'll flat sand the bottom smooth, so there's no issues setting this. All right, let me go get it off the stick and finish up the edges in the back, and I'll be back with the finished stone. All right, finished stone. Let's see how it came out. Beautiful polish. Nice shape. Got a nice bevel around the stone. No chips on the back edge, and I got it pretty much sanded flat and smooth on the bottom. So yeah, it's all ready to be set in a sterling silver bezel. So let me know what you think. Did it turn out all right? Let's see what it looks like with the light through it. All right, well, that's the end of this video. So thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any interest in this stone, I will include a link to the listing in the description of this video. All right, thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.